Matty, welcome back to the podcast, man. How you doing today?
I'm so good, man. Thank you for having me back. It's one of my favorites. Like you're a stud, man. Anytime I get to talk with you, it's a good day.
Ah, cheers, man. Well, you've joined the three-peater now with Jesse Griffiths and Jean-Paul Bourgeois. So,
Is it like a robe we get
yeah,
like on Saturday Night Live, like a
yes,
jacket
yes,
or
that's what I
like
was thinking. It's got to be camo, right? So you can take it out in the field as well or something, right?
right? Let's get a smoking jacket.
I'm working on development. Well, speaking of development, you guys just launched the SIC rifle. Now, listen, this is SIC, but we're talking about SIC, Seekins Interchangeable Caliber. This thing is amazing. I'm going to let you just roll with it. Tell everybody all about the SIC.
So it's tough. It's aptly named. Everybody that has seen it, that's got to play with it through the whole R&D process, man, this rifle is sick. Like you're right, it is. It's aptly named. But no, it's been super fun. So it's been rattling around in Glenn's mind for the last year and a half or so. And me and you have talked about Glenn before, and he's that guy that sees stuff in his brain. So he had this gun built, designed, everything, and then was making final tweaks on it, but all just kind of mentally. And then a year ago, some guys came knocking, and they're looking for some special things with the ability to change calibers on the fly, short action to long action, 308 65 Creedmoor up to 300 Norma, 338 Norma, 300 Lapua, or 338 Lapua. So Glenn's like, man, I've got this one that's been rattling around for a while. Let's start putting it down. So we had a bunch of tweaks with the PH3 and a bunch of things that ate up a bunch of time early in the year. And then about July, Glenn was like, all right, here we go. We're going to get serious. We're going to start making parts. We're going to start R&D and some stuff. And got physical parts out, got some stuff that we were shooting here at the shop at Hat Creek, making tweaks, getting a bunch of feedback from a bunch of different guys. We were sending like 3D printed models of like, here's what the action is. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Got a bunch of different feedback, incorporated everything that we thought that we wanted in it, everything we thought that some special operations guys were looking for on it, and then came up with the finalized SIC rifle, and it is a monster. I cannot wait to get when I try and describe it to people, they're like, what does it look like? What is it? Is it like a chassis? Is it like and it's not. It is not a chassis that was built to house a barreled action. It's not a barreled action. It is a complete like patent pending redesign of what we should look at how we should look at rifles being put together moving forward. So it's the receiver portion of it is massive. It makes up, 2/3 of where a chassis should be on if guys are thinking like, well, how does it compare to a chassis gun? And then it has a removable magazine well. So it's not just one size magazine well, and you have these big plastic spacers that may or may not work for feeding reliability, etc. So it has dedicated caliber specific magazine wells that go into it. And then you can swap the bolt head just like our PH3 or whatever. The bolt body and diameter is much bigger. So that lots of guys have asked, well, can I use like my PH3? Absolutely not. Not even close. The design is exactly the same, but diameter is much different. So toolless bolt head swap. And then the same barrel change system that we've like perfected with the hit is integrated into this receiver. So you can change calibers at the drop of a hat with no tools. There's no screws, there's no torque wrenches. There is nothing that you need because everything, the action receiver is one whole massive unit. So you're not worried about action screws coming loose. I got to retorque this. I have to have the correct tool for that. It's all one piece, and it comes apart. The receiver and the magazine well and the trigger group all come apart based off of 2 takedown pins, just like an AR upper and lower receiver. So it is like the tolerances are insane, but that's what we're known for, is making precision parts that fit together so cleanly. And that the SIC is taken that to the next level for us as far as precision, machining, fit, form, function of the parts together. And it's amazing. It is a one of a kind rifle that is truly a leap in innovation.
Well, and you have the built-in T25 Allen key there for adjustments if you need any, but yeah, all the takedown pins. I mean, it's revolutionary. It really is. You got your folding stock. I mean, I know that this is built really for the idea of military contracts, but I know that there is a huge market from everyone who saw it on Monday. I'm sure that there are lots of phone calls that came coming through to your facility there.
So Normally, I get about 2/3 through the day with normal traffic, whatever. Like my phone's ready for a recharge. I don't think I made it to like 11:30 in the morning, and my phone was gonna die. I had to plug it in. It was just nonstop. I answer one call, miss four. Like it was insane all morning long, and it was a very positive feedback from the industry in general. So yeah, like it's been specifically designed in R&D and through the assembly process just for special operations. But there was such a demand for a weapon that fits that system for competition shooters, for guys that are taking long range classes, et cetera, that even with no like, hey, I don't have a really good delivery date for you. It'll be sometime in 26, hopefully, but that will be military contract dependent, even with no delivery timeline and quite a different price tag than Seekins is used to putting out. The feedback was overwhelmingly super positive, with a lot of demand and desire, and a lot of orders were still placed just so they could have a place in line for when we can start providing these for civilian use.
Sure. Well, and I mean, you guys are always pushing innovation, right? I mean, it's part of the name, and that's something that even just like the little things I was noticing too, like with the 20 MOA pick rail, and then going into the handguard and having that built in. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, I haven't ever seen this before. Here is something that again is cutting edge technology,
So
and you guys
the
are rewriting the
penny
rules.
rail slides into the handguard, and you have to slide it in from the front. You can't just place it down on top and then screw it in. So the handguard is actually beveled. So you can't just pull the pick rail out, which means like repeatability for night optics, et cetera. So you could take the shorter section of rail, permanently mount it to your thermal or hiss or whatever you're going to be, your Voodoo 22, whatever you're going to be using on there. You just permanently leave that on there, slide it on, screw it back in place where it's supposed to be. And like you have no zero shift, like perfect alignment every time. Doesn't matter which way you use that bottom rail, because it is in the handguard is where the 20 MOA is integrated. That rail is machined. It's a crazy forethought. Like Glenn is a wizard. 100%, right? Like Glenn Seekins is a wizard, and how he thought of that stuff to just change how guy, like that's a huge problem for dudes. Like, oh, like put it on here, but then I have zero shift. I have these problems. I have those problems. My pick rail wants to come loose because it's just bolted in from the top. Well, like let's fix that. Let's just make it so it can't come out. You can have no screws on there, and you're still going to be able to put it in there, and it's going to line up and be okay, because it can't physically get pulled out of the handguard. It's awesome.
Well, another thing too that I know with the last round of rifles, we talked about this, your 2025 lineup too. You guys are really building these for these high pressure rounds. I mean, there are some serious things that are coming out. We already know about the 277 Fury, the backcountry. There's different innovations that are coming in the ammunition world, which may have been kind of non-civilian, but now they are. And I see that you guys are testing these, I mean, to extreme levels as well, to make sure that, I mean, I think you guys said you were testing them at like 150, 160, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we blow guns up at Seekins like on the regular to ensure that we're there. And so the other tricky part about high pressure stuff is, and like if you go look at our website, like we don't have any like real high pressure verbiage on the website. We're waiting for Sammy to come out and define what high pressure is. Is it 75,000 psi? Is it 80,000 psi? Is it 90,000 psi? And then what is it supposed to be able to handle? Sammy is the one that comes out with the proof rounds for just standard ammunition that we have right now, which is 20% over what the load is. Well, okay, well, what's it going to be for the high pressure stuff? Is it 20% over 90,000 psi? And then what is the requirement for that, right? Does the gun just not come apart? So we're kind of waiting for Sammy to come out with some stuff before we officially throw the verbiage out there for, like we are high pressure ready, but like, short and small of it, 100%. Like Seekins is ready to go for the high pressure stuff. We're over testing our rifles to extreme amounts. Shotgun or pistol powder loaded to the top of the case, crank the bullet in there, put it in our bomb-proof box. We got like no joke. It's a fishing pole. Like pull the trigger with that. And then with cameras and other things, we're looking at, okay, how did the gun come apart? Where did the gun come apart? Is anything coming back towards the shooter? Because that is unacceptable.
Right. Everything
has to go down or forward of the shooter. And so at 160, 170, 180,000 PSI where these guns are getting detonated at like 130, 140, the magazine doesn't even come out. Like the pressure ports, the designs we have built into the gun allow that to escape and the gun to still function after that happens. Once we get above 150, 160, now we start getting like, pretty severe, lug lockup with the action and a few other things. And the magazine's going to get blown out the bottom, but nothing is wrapping back towards the shooter, which is super cool.
Man, it is. Well, I love that you guys over tested those things to be able to kind of reverse engineer that back and like making sure you guys are having the shooter be safe, especially those who are going to be, using this in the front lines of where they need it. I mean, those
Yeah,
people have to
yeah.
have that, safety in all aspects. Another aspect that I wanted to talk about too is, obviously you got the folding stock, but one of the things I thought was so cool was the ability to kind of change your length of pull and your buttstock being able to move. I mean, there is like the modularity of this entire rifle, but I just was looking at that highlight. I was like, that's kind of a cool setup for however you're going to have to configure your shot, right? There is comfortability with that as well. So
Yeah.
maybe you can talk about that.
And different. So being coming with a background as a Green Beret, there's different mission sets with different stuff. Like a lot of times, if you're going straight recce side, like you're running a pretty slick body armor, if any, but you still have radios, antennas, wires, etc. So how that stock fits to that shooter, and then hit how his kit is set up, right? Like part of being special ops is you get to decide what works best for you, not like everyone will have this magazine here, like kind of big army standardization of stuff. Like no, they get to optimize their kit so that it is the most efficient and battle ready for each operator, which means it may be different for Bob than it is for Dave, than it is for Matty, than it is for you. And so having that stock be able to be on the fly, length of pull adjusted, super easy, cheek piece, super easy, but then also with just a flywheel, loosen it up, and then you can twist, move up and down that actual pad. So find yourself, from this particular hide site where I'm at, where I have to take the shot from off this tripod over this obstacle, whatever it is, man, that like it's not quite fitting right. Instead of trying to adjust stuff and force a wobbly shot or have an unstable position to pull security from, now they can quickly, cleanly adjust where that pad is, move it over to where it's on a clean spot on their body, not rubbing off kit or falling off somewhere, and then be able to have a secure, easy position to shoot from, which is the goal, right? We want it to be as easy as possible for our guys. I want to make the enemy work harder.
Yes.
Right. The easier it is for our guys, mentally, physically, all of that, the longer they get to stay in the fight, the longer, the sharper they're going to be throughout, hours and hours and hours of whatever operation they're on. So that's the goal. Make it easy for our guys to make the enemy work harder. Let's let them get tired. So
love it. Well, and that's just that's not all. There's all sorts of other things you guys have in there. You got the full length Arca rail, the M-lock slots throughout. I mean, everything that you guys have, the modularity is just blows my mind about this. And I was kind of curious too, like where all, I know you guys, test these out at Hat Creek. I know there's other places probably tested them out as well. What kind of distances are you throwing down range, personally when you've had this tested out?
So I've shot the 338 Lapua, just a shade over a mile, like 1,780-ish meters, I think was one of the targets we were banging at up there. And then with the 300 Norma, like that round is a monster. So we're shooting like 22 to 2,500 meters with that, and getting, outside of wind, beating us up at those distances in a canyon, getting pretty good, hits to misses ratios on targets at 22 2,500 meters, which is awesome. So yeah, we're stretching them out pretty far. We've had a couple guns, we've had a couple of the SIC rifles at Hat Creek for a couple months now, and they're both creeping up on a pretty high round count. And it's and the round count is not like, oh, let's one shot here, one shot there. It is like, hey, they pull it out of the truck and everybody's like, what the hell is that? And I want to shoot it. So it's, 10 rounds for this guy, 10 rounds for that guy, 10 rounds for the next guy, like just boop, boop, over and over. And like the suppressor is cooking, like you can smell the hot coming off the gun. It's just getting abused. And it has continued to have zero issues with any type of zero shift. We're using the one piece that, the precision one piece mounts on there with the S-lock that locks up with the rails. And generally speaking, with a lot of the different systems up there, we're usually chasing zeros from one class to the next class by a tenth or two. It gets banged around in the truck. It's maybe, put in backpacks and hiked all over the place up there. But with those two models, from day 1-0 to now, we have had no issues with any zero shift. Banging around the back of the truck. They've been up and down the mountain a bunch of times, bunch of different backpacks, bunch of different users, dropped, whatever. And then just the high round count that's been put on them. No issues with the zero shift, which has been great. So like just reliability is awesome. The accuracy is out of control. Like the 300 grain 338 Lapua is bananas accurate. I mean, you're talking 10 rounds and you don't know where round 7 through 8 landed. It's just a ragged oblong hole in the paper at 100. It's amazing. So super fun to shoot. And then when paired with, we have a couple of different cans that we're using on it from Thunder Beast, which are the SSR 338 can is a massive can, but it is like shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor bare muzzle. It is so like the first shot everyone sends through it seems like is 2 inches low because they're just waiting for this big, just this big recoil, and it's not there. So they flinch and they throw that first shot low, and then they put the next 5 in the same hole. But every time they all like they'll shoot and they'll turn around like, oh my gosh, there's not enough O's in smooth. It is such a clean break and such a soft recoil impulse for such a massive, round capacity plus 300 grains of brass or copper and lead getting thrown down the bullet, down the barrel. So it's a lot of fun to shoot. It really is a game changer.
Well, and the other things too, of course, we got the carbon fiber barrels that you guys have been, just knocking out of the park, and then the 12 round magazine double stacked, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's a 12 round magazine. There are magazines. Like people ask like what other magazines will work with it. Like Accuracy International double stack magazines will work with it. The magazines are getting folded here, and then we have our follower or our base that we put on it, and then our follower. So the follower allows a couple things. One is it doesn't stop the bolt from going forward when you're out, so you can hand feed single feed rounds into the top and still run the bolt with the magazine in, and then the base allows 2 more rounds. So we have a 12 round magazine instead of a 10, which is a big deal for these guys.
Sure.
For special operations, 10 rounds sounds like a lot till, rounds are going both directions, and 2 more rounds is a big deal. So, pretty excited about those, to go along with it. So we really did try and think of every single aspect, and we reached out to a ton of guys that we know that are still active, that are recently retired. What do you think? What would you like? What have you been missing your whole career? If you could change one thing about this system, what would it be? And we really tried to incorporate 100% of that wish list, and it's been like it's coming from me, right? But like I work here, but I really do think we knocked this one out of the park, and it's going to be a game changer for both special operations and then civilian shooters that are in this realm that just want to reach out and touch some targets at distance with a big heavy caliber and do some ELR, but then have the ability to drop it back down to a 6.5 Creedmoor, go to a local competition and just hammer dudes. So
Man, it is amazing. And one of the other things too, I know it's a smaller piece on the larger frame of things, but even the ambidextrous safety that doubles as a thumb rest. I mean, just everything you guys have, it's so smooth.
I'm super glad you brought that one up. So we actually put a ton of thought into that one. So that was a design where I was like, man, everybody that shoots the hit, that's the number one complaint we get about the hit, is it doesn't have a thumb shelf. Doesn't have a thumb shelf, doesn't it? And it sort of does, but you got to have long fingers like I do, and you can there's a wedge in there. There's a cutout you can put your thumb in, but it's not like a clearly like, oh, that's a thumb shelf. So with the safety, we're like, hey man, what if we just use 700 triggers, like 700 drop-in triggers, but then we manipulate the normal throw lever on top and we replace it with this big ambidextrous thumb shelf. And that has been so when Glenn was talking about it, he got on fire about the ergonomics and aesthetics of the gun. He took a trip, and him and his wife went down and they rented a couple of different like high-end sports cars just to play with, right? And drive around, have some fun, do whatever. And he liked some, he didn't like some others. There are some features this, some features that, but he in particular, he got in a Porsche and he was like, if you just closed your eyes and sat down, right? The steering wheel is right where it's supposed to be. The shifters were right where they were supposed to be. The pedals were exactly set where they should be. Like there's like to the millimeter, right? Like every tiny little detail for the ergonomics of that race car were thought out by German engineers and all their, big brains. And Glenn was like, hey, I want guys to close their eyes and lay down behind the SIC and have it feel the same as when I got in that super high-end sports car. I want them to lay down behind that gun and immediately point and aim is correct. This is where the thumb shelf. Like, I don't want them to have to think about anything. They just lay down and it's already there, specifically designed for that. They don't even realize that it's a thumb shelf that's a safety. Like, it's just that natural feeling to them. So that's a lot of where some of the design features came in. In particular, it started with the safety being an ambidextrous thumb shelf for guys. And that's, yeah, every feature was designed with that sports car model in mind, right? Close your eyes. It needs to be right where you think it should be. And that's how we designed it.
Wow, man. I mean, that's the level of detail and ingenuity that Glenn and your whole team puts into things. It's second to none, man. I mean, I absolutely love everything you guys have put out. Every time I show my Seekins rifles to all my friends, there's been many orders that have come through. There are people who are just astounded by just the innovation, really, and it's in the name, right? And I cannot wait to see this get out there, more people be able to get an eye on it, and hopefully get behind one as well. Is there anything else that you kind of think we need to touch base on? I mean, obviously we've got overall length, 47 inches, folded 37.5. I think we have a 26-inch barrel is standard, right?
26-inch barrel for the long action, 24-inch for the short action. Yep. As desire comes down the pipe for different guys, we obviously keep track of like, hey, I'd really like an 18-inch barrel for this or whatever. So we'll make some changes based off of market demand. All the nitty-gritty details are on the website. 15.5 ounces naked. It's a big heavy gun. That's like, some of the people that were chirping at us like, man, that's a really heavy gun. Like, well, yeah, it's like, it's not made to be lightweight. Like, weight equals recoil management. These guys got to see what's happening downrange. They can't afford to shoot and then, come off target and lose what happens. So the weight is there with that in mind of, hey, like, that's a big heavy round. It's it's a lot of recoil that needs to be managed. And some of the weight of that gun helps with that. So it is a little bit heavier, but like, hey, you like, get to the gym, right? Like, come on. If you want to play, you can act hard, you can be hard. You got to pick one.
Yeah.
So,
well, you can kind of use it as weightlifting if you need to.
Yeah, right.
But that recoil management, especially where this is necessary, like you said too, that kind of adjustment people are always bracing for, like, wait a minute, it is a game changer once again. Of course, comes the Trigger Tech Diamond 2-stage, but that is user adjustable as well too.
That is user adjustable. It's also a 700 drop in because of the ambidextrous safety lever. It's not like, oh, let me put this in myself, right? Yeah. Because we need to, like, we're gonna move some stuff around so that works, but it's an easy drop in. You tell us which trigger you want and we get it dropped in here at the shop, no problem. So
that's amazing.
But yeah, end user right now is two-stage trigger. So the Trigger Tech Diamond is awesome. It's user adjustable. So I think 1.5 pounds is factory set, and then you can go down to 6 ounces or up to I think 3 pounds on that trigger. So whatever their end user in mind is the idea, right? How I like a little bit heavier pull, I like a little bit lighter pull, depending on what they like. They can go ahead and tune it super easy.
Yeah, just make sure you're sneezing away from the trigger when it gets set at that 6 ounce mark,
you get
right?
Down to those 10, 8, 6 ounces, baby. That's right now.
Yes.
So
boom.
Yeah.
I love it. Matty, thank you once again for joining me. I really love catching up with you, and I love talking about Seekins Precision and all the things, all the innovation that you guys are pushing, man. It's seriously, it's second to none, and I cannot wait to have everyone be able to learn more about the SIC, and I'm very excited to share this with everyone.
Well, I can't thank you enough for having us on, man. You're a stud. It's one of those people that I met, and I was like, we are going to be friends. I don't know if he's looking for one, but he's got one now, right? Like,
yeah, no, I was looking too, man. I was looking.
So it's been like always fun to catch up with you, and it's an added bonus that we get to talk about some of the cool stuff that Seekins is doing. So
indeed. Well, lastly, everyone, give them the website, give them the socials. I know it's pretty easy. I'll have them in the notes below, but go ahead and lay those out real quick.
You can go to just www.seekinsprecision.com for the website. Seekins_official for all the social media stuff. You'll usually find us there. Like I said, usually if you don't see my face in like some of the initial posts, then you're on we got some follower groups and other stuff that have their own stuff. But looking for this ugly mug, and it'll be mustache or beard or bald or long hair. Like the hair changes by the week, but yeah,
gotta keep them guessing. Yeah.
And
then for your page, if people want to go ahead and follow you, because you got some great content there as well.
Yeah, it's just Matty, Matty __ Nelson. And that's it's just me riding my horses and playing with Seekins toys is all that is. So
Lovely, man. Well, hey, thanks again. And next time you guys got, the next game-changing innovation, let me know. We'll be bringing it to the audience. Everyone, make sure you go check out the links below and make sure you're following the socials for Seekins for the next update that's coming. And I know you'll be amazed at learning more about the SIC. Can't wait for it to get out there, buddy.
thank you, man. Thank you.
Cheers.